Welcome back to JRL Golf Academy. In this episode, I'm still pumped up about this episode. I got to interview Martin Chuck. Martin Chuck is absolutely known for tour striker golf, and within the golf industry, he's made some of the greatest training aids, as well as being a master communicator as an instructor. I had a million questions. Martin answered them all, from technical questions about the transition all the way to how he brings products to life so that we can get them. So with no further ado, Martin Chuck on JRL Golf Academy.
Back to like marketing things now. It's
Yeah.
there's so many opportunities with social media. Just like look at like a brand like Nike, right?
Yeah.
Nike Golf doesn't pay to advertise on the Golf Channel. They don't. They basically what they do, right? They basically give Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy, Jason Day. Oh man, Charles Schwartzel. They pick their studs. They know these guys are going to play well. They know these guys are going to be on TV all day on Sunday, right? And so you see what I'm saying? They choose different strategies to promote their products. See, they're using social media influencers as well. They're using a lot of cute golfer gals and hooking them up with stuff. They're pretty respectful of who they choose for that kind of thing, which I like. So there's a lot of that, and so for people to use influencers, now a lot of influencers reach out to me and say, hey Martin, I've got this following, would you send me one of these things? And I'm choosy with who I do that with. Frankly, PlaneMate's been crazy. We're sold out of the damn thing, so I don't have any to send. I mean, we keep some for replacement parts and for tour players. So if you're on the PGA Tour, we'll send you one. Because you're the ultimate influencer. But and a lot of times, PGA Tour players will just order one, or order a smart ball, or order something because you know what? They don't want to feel like they owe me a favor. And I respect that. Like our awesome gal who works for us, who manages the warehouse, she'll say, hey, I recognize this name. But yep, that guy won the Masters. You know what I mean? And so a lot of tour players will just click buy now and order one, because then they're not obliged to post, something in their social media because their agent doesn't want them to or whatever. But then other guys are great, like Justin Rose, and a lot of guys are like, yep, using my smart ball today, hitting balls, and and I'm like, wow, he breaks the internet for us. And Rory McIlroy is the same way. Like Rory McIlroy, he breaks the internet when he uses one of my products. He does. And the PlaneMate, you might have on your show too is one of my best buds, David Woods, who's got a great Instagram. David is he was the guy he called me up after I did this video for Revolution Golf years ago and said, hey, that rubber band thing you tied on the club and this and that. He goes, that thing, imagine if you put that on a belt. So he inspired the thought that even made the PlaneMate come around. And then I used my kind of creative stylings to kind of make it happen. But yeah, I wouldn't have done it. Because I used to just take rubber bands and tie them on clubs and then impose my will on the shaft. When a student was hitting a shot, I'd pull this way to feel them that way, and I'd force it different ways. So they had to fight me while they're swinging with this rubber band, and then, I'd let it go or let it sling around or do whatever. But he was the guy who said, hey, if you kind of had that, because I had it tied off of my belt, he said if it had some movement down there now people would be able to, kind of sort of finish their swing with it. And then we played around with I made a couple of prototypes up, and that's where it came from. So we're partners.
So that was like a collab between you and David, really.
Yeah, he was one of my assistants way back when at Indian Ridge Country Club in Palm Desert in around I want to say 2000, and now he's a director of golf at the Vintage Club. Yeah. He's had a great trajectory in golf, and he's an awesome pro, great family guy.
Golf Motion Academy said best invention on the market. I'm going to have to get in there with you. It's definitely,
thank you.
It's definitely in the top there. So what now goes on with Martin Chuck? Do you just continue? You just want to keep teaching, still inventing? What's on the horizon here?
Yeah, this year was actually Andrew Rice was like, hey mate, let's try to qualify for the Senior Open.
Let's
and
do
I'm
it.
like, okay, let's do it, right? So I entered, and Qualifying is in May 15th, and of course it got canceled.
Yeah.
You know, I still like to play. Sometimes I can still play decent, you know. It's
Yeah.
fun seeing some of my buddies play well out there. I don't have any pipe dreams that I'm going to go beat Scott McCarron every week. That's not, you know, he beat me when I was 20 and he's going to beat me now. But, you know, I can still play a little bit. You know, I love teaching golf. I really do. I get a lot of personal satisfaction and frustration out of teaching golf. People say to me, "Man, you're so patient." And I'll say, "I'm so patient because I struggle in the game too."
Yeah.
And I don't care what teaching pro, I don't care how good they are. Every golfer struggles in the game because it's the hardest game, period.
Yeah.
Because it's part athleticism. It's like playing piano. It's like, you know, knitting a quilt. I mean, there's so many elements in golf that everything has to coalesce for you to play well, that it's an endless journey, this crazy game, right? So I enjoy coaching and I enjoy challenging students to become better. And it's one of those things where I think my energy to do that will continue for a while. Like I'm 51, you know, I'll probably do it till I'm maybe 60. I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I inventing still? You know it. You know, I've got a few things up my sleeve that hopefully will come out, you know, in the next year or so. You know, I want to let the plane mate ride for a while. You know, Woodsy and I are enjoying the ride, and you know, I've got a couple other things I'm working on, and you know, and Woodsy and I have some thoughts on some other things too. So, you know, we'll see how that all goes. I'm having a blast with my kids. My son's 10, my daughter's 13. They're a riot.
Yeah, they
So
are.
pretty blessed with that. Um, yeah, just kind of I've had a fun life in golf, even though, you know, you'd asked me earlier in the other part of the podcast or Instagram, you know, what I played, you know, what did I play? And I did. You know, I got my Canadian Tour card right out of college. I played for a few years, and I really wasn't that good. You know, I mean, I had kind of some gaping holes in my game. I can being honest with you, I never really putted like when Mike Weir was my buddy from
Yeah.
young age. When Mike got on a tear putting, you know, it was pretty fun to watch. Not being the guy he was playing against, but for
Yeah.
him to hole putts,
Yeah.
you know, he had a filthy short game. He always did. Mine was like, you know, some days it was decent. His was usually, he was a tenacious mother scratcher, you know, and he hit it okay. He didn't hit it great. He didn't really start hitting it great until he was probably, you know, at least into college, maybe even after college. He started working with a friend of ours, Mike Wilson.
Mike Wilson.
Yeah, very good coach. And you know, Mike worked for Ledbetter for a while and kind of got his teaching chops working for Led, and then helped Mike Weir kind of organize a few things in the swing. And Mike started to grow his confidence. And then when you have a confident striker, you know, also now come together with a short game, like a pretty confident, aggressive putter, and a, you know, very good wedgist. Now all of a sudden you had a tour player, right?
Yeah.
And so you got a guy who wasn't like epically fast, but yet who hit it in the face and, you know, could find his golf ball and who made a lot of putts. And now all of a sudden you had a guy who won, I think he won, you know, 9 times and won the Masters. So, and he turns 50 here, you know, in a month, I think. And I think he'll do really well.
Yeah. I got two. Thank you again for being so patient, and thank you for your time. I've got two questions, two more questions for you. One,
Sure.
Martin, what does it mean to be a professional in your eyes?
Okay.
Teaching professional like what we do. In your eyes, what does it truly mean to be a professional? And what would you leave all the young pros that are on here? What would you suggest to them is, let's say you're talking to your younger self when you start out teaching. What would you tell your younger self what you need to do to become a successful teacher as yourself?
Sure. So professional, right? So I'm cheating here. I just kind of looked it up, right? It's, you know, relating to or connected with a profession, engage in a specific activity as one's main paid occupation rather than as a pastime. But, you know, I don't look at it like that's the definition of the word, right? The definition of the word to me is not what a professional is about. You know, then there's one that says a true professional is a term often used to describe people whose job performance is exceptional. Okay. It could apply to any avocation or profession, whether workers or actors, cabinet makers, musicians, or artists. The point is that they worked with a professional who's They worked within a professionalism that was remarkable. Okay. So that to me is a description that's fantastic. I had to cheat to look it up, but it's one of those things where being a professional, obviously you are going to, one, never think you know it all, okay? Because I'll tell you that's not a professional. A professional is respectful, has humility, has care, has patience, has been in the trenches, and understands what it's like to work through a problem supporting somebody, okay? And in golf, it's no different. So, ego to me is a problem. And you gotta believe in what you know and that you can help people for sure. But you've got to be, again, patient and understand where they come from. Because a lot of the folks I coach, they can't talk language like I could talk to you about external rotation, flexion, abduction, blah, 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 right? You got to talk to them in a language they understand. And then also, what does golf mean to them? Because anybody can hit a ball. I could put a ball on the ground, I can hit it, okay? Now, can I predict where it's going to go? Now that's a bit more of a challenge. So when you know what your student is in front of you and what they want, a good professional can say, all right, this is what this person wants. I want the ability to, have a comfortable experience playing with others. That's what most people want in golf. They just don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
They don't want to go win championships and hoist the US Open trophy. That's a few select people that want to do that. Most folks want to go and sort of enjoy the day with others, get outside and enjoy the beautiful game golf is, right? So a professional can understand what somebody wants by asking questions and reading between the lines a little bit. A professional knows where to start with a student, knows how to govern their expectations appropriately, and then creates a relational experience, meaning that the student and the pro, right, they know how to know who's in front of them and create a relational experience. So I'd say, and obviously they're getting paid for it because that's the true definition of profession, not a pastime. But did that answer your question okay?
Like you couldn't have done it any better than that. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
I think that's something that I'm 40 now. I've been teaching for 14 years.
Awesome.
But I wanted to get that out to the younger pros of what a true professional is. I think it's my job to also let the younger pros know this is how you become a professional. It's not mudslinging or anything like that. If you got a mudsling, there's probably you're not being a professional, number one. But exactly what Martin said, I agree wholeheartely.
And let me go back one step on that because you brought up something pretty cool. I had a student reach out for an online lesson a couple years ago. Okay, and this is my mudsling. It was a mild mudsling, but I'll tell you what happened. So this student says, I've been taking lessons for a while, and this guy's got this grip on, is super weak, and his face is super open, and he's hitting hooks, open face, weak grip, rolling the shaft, hitting the outside of the ball, hooking every ball, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and he's been taking lessons. So I go, there's no way any decent pro taught you to grip it like that.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, this pro didn't say a thing about my grip. And so in my cavalier little comment, right, this guy goes back to his pro, requests a refund for the remaining few lessons that he had bought, okay? This pro was a class act. He calls me, and he was super cool. He's like, hey, Martin, my name's such and such. I'm aware of you. I watch your videos and stuff. I want to know that, watched you, appreciate you, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you're taking a lesson now from this fella. I'm just going to warn you. He goes, this guy's a beauty. He goes, don't think for a second that I didn't try to organize his hands and get the club face a little bit more manageable. That student was the problem because believe me, I worked really hard to help communicate to that knucklehead how to get his hands on to where he didn't have to flash this face over. So I'm going, oh my gosh. I said, I am so sorry that my flippant comment, created that chain reaction. But then again, as that, I was probably 48 or 9 at the time, another lesson learned, right? Because you'll see a student and they'll be doing something and they'll make this funky move and then they'll say, you know what, I've heard this a ton too. Hey, Martin, I've worked with, you name the top 20 guys, okay?
Yeah.
I've worked with the top 20 guys, you're my last hope.
Yeah.
I've heard that from 10 people.
Yep.
And I'll say, well, I'll tell you what, if you've worked with the top 20 guys and I'm your last hope, then you know what? The problem wasn't those 20 guys. The problem was you, buddy.
Yeah.
Because trust me, those top 20 guys or gals, they're probably pretty darn good in the way they express what they see and how you're going to help get better.
Yeah.
All right. You didn't take their advice and suffer enough through it to get better.
Yeah.
And now you're going to ask me to tell you something that you're probably not going to do anyway. And then I'm going to be the 21st guy at the top of the, top teachers lists, whatever those are, that, you're not going to listen to and go to another guy anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So now that I'm 51, I'm crusty. Okay. I'm curmudgeon with those guys. And I'll say to those guys, listen, you suck.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not very good. You don't deserve to be good.
Yeah.
I want to help you deserve to be good.
Yeah.
By organizing a few things, earn it.
Yeah.
Earn the right to be good.
Yeah.
And then guess what? And if I bust your chops enough, you may fix this, thing that is out of the margin of success for a golf swing, and you may become functional. So let's do that.
It's always a red flag to me when a new student comes in, like you said, names the teachers, then goes, didn't fix it. And I go, okay, so I'm going to be the next teacher that you're going to talk crap about. I know that already.
Right.
Right. But then in my mind, I always realize, every time you point a finger, there's 3 more pointing back at you. Right. So, the finger pointing with sometimes with the students, and you're 100% right in what you're saying there. And let me ask you this. The last question I'm going to ask you is, what do you tell your younger self, when you were starting as a teacher, Martin? What do you tell your younger self that you know now that you would want your younger self to know to become successful faster?
One, you don't know everything. There was a time that I really thought I had this teaching thing dialed. I really did. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I got no idea. So you'll never know everything. And now kids these days, there's so much information out there. You still never know. You still don't know how to relate to the human very well. Yeah. And even when you get good at it, you still have to be better at relating to the human in front of you and challenging them in the way that you can without making them cry or run away or burdening them with too much information. So that's one thing my younger self, instead of just kind of information on somebody, listen more, watch more, and then choose where you're going for. I would say when I was a younger pro, I might watch 1 or 2 balls and go, okay, I got this. Now I'll watch them hit 10 or 15 balls, right? I might not say much. Might look at some data on somewhere the balls are going, kind of check my personal boxes a bit, and then I might, I'm slower to get into what I would do. I'm not in such a hurry to just go jump in on what I want to fix, right? I might watch a bit more, because I'll tell you, in my golf school now, we do always a playing component. And so what I see on a range and what I see on a golf course, very different oftentimes, all right? Ranges are square boxes, flat surfaces like we talked about.
Yeah.
Golf courses have different things and trees and penalty areas and things. So I see a lot of different things. So I try to look at it like, all right, I try to look more into the psyche of the person, let them hit a few more balls the first time I get to know them. And then I'll slowly get into, I ask them what they want, right? But then I also try to fit in a bit of what they need too. But I try to give them what they want.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you left so many nuggets for the teachers out here, for the students. You've given us a lot of training aids that are actually useful, and I think it's phenomenal that yourself and our mutual friend Chris Walkie, you guys are teachers that are actually making training aids that you're used. You know what I mean? It's usable. And
Chris Walkie, another men's league hockey player, by the way.
Is he?
I used to play hockey with him. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
So you said that's the beer league. For hockey, you end up in that beer league. What's the golf beer league for us ex-professionals?
Yeah, it'd be like the Friday afternoon skins game at the Muni.
That's perfect there. Martin, if people want to get a hold of you, I mean, you're obviously, everybody knows you, but what are some things that if they want to get a hold of any of your products or stuff like that, could you just plug it in and let me know right now?
Yeah, just tourstriker.com, tourstriker.com, and then now that I'm an old guy, I'm trying to figure out this Instagram, and then I've been doing YouTube videos, not seriously, but if I like a video, I'll drop it into my at Tour Striker on YouTube. So and people can find me on my website. Nowadays everybody's pretty much there.
Yeah.
You can find
Yeah.
anybody. So
Yeah. If it's all right with you, I've got a YouTube channel as well. I'll post it on there, give you a link if that's all right with you. If not, you know what I mean? I can,
absolutely.
but hey, man, I really appreciate you doing this. I'm so lucky to be able to be introduced to you in this way and in this format in this digital age. I can't thank you enough. And as soon as we get done with this thing, I'd love to go over there and bug you some more with Chris Walkie.
No, so and also I appreciate you. I'll tell you why. So it's nice to meet you in this format, but I'm a fan of people that don't let too much grass grow under their feet. You know what I mean? So you took an opportunity under a bad situation and did something, because if it probably wasn't for this virus situation, I still wouldn't know you in this format, right? I might see your posts on Instagram or something. And I do see a tons of pros, and I feel like I know them even though we haven't met. So now I kind of know you through this, which is great. But I commend you for just taking action. And so when I do these PGA seminars, like when you get old enough like me, you get invited to speak to younger people at PGA section events and stuff. And I'll basically say, like, nobody takes action. Now, you think you do, but you don't, okay? You took action, so I'm proud of you. And I want those younger folks out there, take action, man. Do something different than the guy down the street. You never know. You just might make a tour striker. You just might do something fun, smart ball or whatever. You never know what comes out of it. Just stay busy. Let those creative juices flow. It's a crazy game we play. Some Scotsman back in the day or whoever the hell invented it, I don't know. But we have fun doing it, and I'm grateful to do it, and I appreciate people watching. So thanks for having me on.
Man, you're awesome. I can't thank you so much enough, Martin Chuck, and I look forward to another conversation with you.
All the best.
All right, be safe.
Take care.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for watching, everybody, the JRL Golf Academy. Please make sure to link and comment down below. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that little bell for notifications. And we look forward to seeing you on the next JRL Golf Academy.